Hey, what's up everybody? This is Zach with BuildBox. You know, it's funny because I've been doing a lot of videos lately. I've been putting a lot of videos up on YouTube. But in the comment section, almost after every video I put up, multiple people will say, hey man, you know, great video, but you know what we really need? We really need a HeyZap mediation tutorial. So let's do this. Alright, so this first tutorial is for iPhone and for iOS. I'm going to do another video soon for Android, but for this tutorial you will need an email account and you will need an Apple developer account. If you have not set that up yet, then please watch my other tutorial that teaches you how to take your BuildBox games and to put them on your iPhone. It teaches you how to set up your Apple developer account and everything you will need for this tutorial. And if you want to see more tutorials like this, then please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Like and subscribe.
So the first thing that you want to do is decide which ad network that you're going to work with. Now there's a whole bunch of good ones listed right here, but the one that we're working with today is Admob by Google. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is go to apps.admob.com/admob/signup. Now I'm going to use this HeyZap tutorial Gmail account that I created for this tutorial, but you're going to want to enter in your own Gmail account for this. Next, I'm going to select my country, I'm going to select my time zone, and then I'm going to select my currency. Then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to accept the terms and conditions and press Create Admob Account. Next, a confirmation email is going to be sent to my email address and it's going to ask me if I want to receive information on any of these other topics. Now I'm going to just press No for this right now, and then I'm going to go ahead and verify my account. The next thing it's going to do is ask you to enter in your cell phone number so that it can verify your account. Now I'm going to go ahead and ask you to hold here for 1 second while I do this. Okay, so Google sent me a PIN, so I'm just going to enter that in and verify. Awesome, so now my account has been verified and I'm going to click on Continue to Admob. So this will take you to the Admob account homepage. You want to click on Get Started. Next, it's going to ask you if you have published a game in Google Play or the App Store yet. If you have, then click on Yes. If you have not, then click on No. Next, it's going to ask you for the app name of the app that you want to set up with Admob. I'm going to go ahead and just type in Best Game Ever. And then I'm going to click on iOS and click Add. Great. Now the Best Game Ever has been added to Admob. Next, click on Create Ad Unit. Next, it's going to ask you to select an ad format. I'm going to go ahead and select banner. Next, it's going to ask you to select some different settings for the banner ad format. I'm going to leave all the settings how they are, but I'm going to change the name of the ad unit name to banner for Best Game Ever. And then I'm going to click Save. This is going to give you the breakdown for the banner ID, and I recommend clicking on sending an email with these instructions. Now you're going to want to put your email in for this, but I'm going to just use the email that I created for this account and send it to that one. Then I'm going to click on Create Another Ad Unit. This time I'm going to select a reward video, and I'm going to change the name to Reward for Best Game Ever. And I'm going to hit Save. This is going to generate another ID, and then I'm going to send these as well. So I'm just going to copy that and send the email. Okay, and then we'll click on Create Another Ad Unit, and we got a couple more to go. First, this is going to be Interstitial 1. So make sure you label it as Interstitial 1 because we're going to do this one twice. One for static ads and then one for video ads. So Interstitial for Best Game Ever. And then I'm going to hit Save. It's going to generate the ID for me. I'm going to send this email real quick. I'm going to send that to myself real quick, and then there's one more to go. I'm going to click Create Another Ad Unit, and then last time I'm going to click Interstitial, and then this time it's going to be Interstitial 2 for Best Game Ever. I'm going to hit Save. This is going to generate the last ad unit that I need, and I'm going to send this email as well. I've got my email copied, so I'm just going to paste it and send that to myself. Great, now I'm going to hit Done. Great, now we've got 4 ads set up for the Best Game Ever. The next thing you want to do is click on Home. You should see an error here at the top that says your ad units are not displaying because you haven't provided your account payments information yet. So we're going to just click Fix It right here. And then we're going to click Set Up Payments. I'm going to go ahead and enter this information, and then I'm going to press Submit. Great, so now our payment information is all squared away. Eventually you will have to add your credit card or your bank account information once your account reaches that $100 threshold. But for right now, we can go back to home and we should see no errors at the top, just a couple of warnings. And this warning is about starting October 23rd, you'll no longer be able to create new native Express ad units. So don't worry about that at all. Right now you're finished. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is go to HeyZap.com. That will take you to the HeyZap homepage, and then you want to go ahead and click on Sign Up. This will take you to the sign up page, and then this is where you want to put in your username and email address. So the username that I'm going to use is HeyZap Tutorial, and then I'm going to use the email address that I created for this tutorial. And I'm going to put a password that is both safe and easy to remember. And then I'm going to hit sign up. Okay, great. So the next thing you want to do is click on Monetize Apps, and the App Store URL of your best app is totally optional, so just click continue. The next thing that you want to do is click on the additional networks that you want to add. Now these are all great networks, but a lot of developers seem to favor Admob. So I'm going to click on Admob and click continue. Next, you're going to select which apps you would like to set up with the ad networks that you chose. First, I'm going to click on iOS. Then, since my game is not in the App Store yet, I'm going to choose to add my app manually by clicking here. Then I'm going to put in my app name, Best Game Ever. And then I'm going to put in my bundle identifier. Now, the way bundle identifiers usually work is it is written com, then company name, and then app name. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do com, and then just as an example, I'm going to choose BuildBox, and then I'm going to put in Best Game Ever. Okay, great. My game has been added, so I'm good to go here. I'm going to click Continue now. Okay, so I now have two web browsers open up. I have the HeyZap Mediation going on over here on the left, and then on the right I have the emails that I sent from Admob. And I have one other tab that's open, and then this is the Admob homepage. We're going to need both of these right now for this next step, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put in our publisher ID. Now we can find that on the Admob homepage. You go up here to the top right, you click on your little picture, and it has the publisher ID right there. So I'm just going to select it, copy it, and then over here I'm going to paste it. Okay, I'm going to start scrolling down here. Now the next thing I'm going to need to do is grab my app ID. Okay, so my app ID is right here under the email. It's written on each one of these messages, and it just says app ID right there under the Best Game Ever. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste that in as well. And make sure that you're getting all of these exactly right, because if you mess up one of these, it does not work properly, and it really is a bummer. So make sure you're doing this correctly. So the next thing that we're going to do is the static ID unit. Remember how I said that there was a static ad and a video ad? Well, here's where that applies. We're going to use the two interstitials that we created. So looking down, I see the banner, I see the rewards. Here's the interstitial 1 and interstitial 2. So I'm going to use interstitial 1 for static, and I'm going to use interstitial 2 for video. So I'm copying the interstitial ad for static, which is interstitial 1, and I'm pasting it, and I accidentally pasted it in the wrong box. So let's fix that. Okay, cool. So that's good. Everything is back to normal. Perfect. Okay. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select interstitial ad 2, and I'm grabbing the ID numbers from each one of these just in case you can't see. So I'm going to paste that in for my video ad, because those two IDs, even though they both say interstitial, they need to have unique IDs, okay? Don't think that you can just get away with making one interstitial ID. So the next one is the Incentivized Video Ad, which is basically our reward videos. So I'm going to go up on my email. I'm going to select the reward video ID. I'm going to copy it and throw it over here on the left and paste it in. Okay, and the last one is the banner ID, and we're not going to worry about the native ad unit. We're just going to do the banner one. And as soon as we press continue or OK, it's going to say that we didn't put a native ad unit ID, and that's totally fine. So I'm going to paste that in for the banner ID, and just kind of doing a paranoia check here. Okay, publisher ID, they all look pretty good. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to press continue, and then it's going to send a little warning message. It says right here, you haven't filled out all the fields, continue anyway. And yes, you want to just press continue. Okay, great. So now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this window over here on the right. Okay, great. So we're almost done with this part. The last thing we're going to do here is click on iOS. Awesome. So this is the iOS SDK 9 page. Now there's a whole bunch of really good stuff on this page, and you're going to want to check this out on your own time later. But for today, just go ahead and follow along with me and what I'm doing. The two things that we do need to do right now on this page is we want to download the SDK version 9.12.7. It might say something different for you, but you want to make sure that you're downloading the last stable release. Okay, so this is guaranteed to work. So you want to go ahead and download this one. So click on that and download that one, and then you're going to also want to download the Admob SDK. So here's the Admob SDK right here. I'm going to click on that and download that one as well. And just so you know, you do not want to download the beta version, and you can switch the beta version to the non-beta version, but I still wouldn't download this because I'm not really 100% sure that it's going to work all the time. I know that this stable one will work, so I just go ahead and I use that one. And then in a little bit later, we are going to use this mediation debugger that is down here. So it's really good to check all this stuff out when you get a chance, but later we're going to copy some of this code. We're not at that step yet, but later we're going to take a look at this. And one other thing that we need to do is we need to check the HeyZap dashboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to need this page later on, so I actually want to keep this page. So I'm going to right click this page in the upper left hand corner, and I'm going to click on duplicate so that I have two of these. And then on this second one, I'm going to click on dashboard right here. And then next, I'm going to click on mediation overview. This is going to list my app name, and you want to click on settings over here on the right. Great, so this is where we actually connect our Admob network. So I'm going to click on this right here, click on Admob, then I'm going to scroll down, and I need to grant access from this publisher ID. So I'm going to click on grant access. It's going to open up this window here, and I'm going to just click on the Gmail account that I have set up for this, and I'm going to sign in with that. And I'm going to click allow, and then I've got my access granted right here. Okay, now I'm going to scroll down and click on save because I don't want to lose that. And then now I can turn the status from off to on. Great. Okay, so now we've got Admob connected, and now when we set up our iPhone in Xcode, we should be seeing some Admob advertisements play as well. So I'm going to shrink that down, and now I'm going to actually just exit out of this window because I don't need it anymore. But I will need a couple of stuff from this later on, so I'm going to keep this one saved, and I'm going to minimize it again. Okay, great. So now that we've done all that, we're ready to open up BuildBox now. I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to call this project HeyZap Example, and then I'm going to leave all of these other settings just how they are, and I'm going to click Create. Okay, great. So BuildBox has already generated a game for us. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the upper left-hand corner, and I'm going to select the menu editor. This is going to take me to the game mind map. The first thing we're going to do is click on the World UI. Next, in the upper right-hand corner, we're going to add a banner to this gameplay. So we're going to click on HeyZap for the add banner. Next, I'm going to click on the Game Over UI. And here, I'm going to do an interstitial ad for HeyZap and an ad banner with HeyZap. The interstitial ad frequency I'm going to use is 3. So every 3 times you enter the Game Over UI, it's going to play an ad. Next, I'm going to click on the Game Over UI, and I'm going to just add a button in real quick. So I'm going to drag in a purchase button as an example. Next, I'm going to drag in an image for that button. So I'm going to just drag in a reward button here. And that's way too big, so I'm going to shrink this down. Place it right here in the middle. And so now when the player selects this button, it's going to give them a few coins and play a reward video. So let's go ahead and change the settings so that to make that happen. So I'm going to scroll down over here on the right, and I'm going to change a few settings. First, I'm going to click Buy and Use. I'm going to change the purchase method to rewarded videos. I'm going to leave the one-time purchase option as default, and then I'm going to keep the ad network as HeyZap, because HeyZap is going to mediate all of the ad networks for us. So now I'm going to go back to my menu editor, back to the game mind map, and I'm going to click on options. First thing I'm going to do is make sure I have the Apple iOS App Store selected, and then I'm going to change my bundle ID to the bundle ID that I created earlier. So it's going to be com.buildbox.bestgameever. I'm going to leave the leaderboard ID blank and the review link blank as well, including the share message. All of these are going to just stay the same. The next thing that we need to do is click click on the Advertisements tab up here in the upper right. And so this is where we're going to add in our HeyZap Publisher ID. So I'm going to grab that right now. So just in case you don't know where your Publisher ID is on HeyZap, you want to go up to the top right and you want to select your username and then click on Account, and then your Publisher ID is right here. So I'm going to select that Publisher ID, I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to press back because I want to use this page later. Don't forget that we're going to need something on this page later on. So I'm going to press back and then I'm going to minimize this and save it for later. Now I can go ahead and copy in and paste that HeyZap Publisher ID, and that's all you want to do for this page. Don't add in your Admob interstitial or any of these other ones. We're just putting in the HeyZap Publisher ID, and that's going to mediate everything for us. After you're done, press OK. The next thing that you want to do is you want to go up to File, click on Export, and then click on iOS. There's going to be a HeyZap network warning, and we just want to ignore that and press Continue. Then a window will pop up and ask you, what do you want to save this file as, and where do you want to save it? Right now I'm going to save it as HeyZap example, and I'm going to save it to the desktop. Now this is the actual file that's being saved. This is the BB doc. Now this right here is the export. So this is going to export the iOS project. So I'm going to keep it as HeyZap example as well, and I'm going to just press Save. Okay, great. Now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and open up Xcode now. Okay, great. So the next step is going to be using these 3 folders. Now this folder right here is the folder that was generated by BuildBox, and this holds our game files for Xcode. This right here is the HeyZap SDK that I had you download, and then this is the Google Ads SDK. So let's go ahead and open up HeyZap example, click on iOS, and double click on ptplayer.xcode project. This is going to open up Xcode. So this is Xcode for those of you who have not seen Xcode before, and if you have not set up Xcode, then definitely watch my tutorial teaching you how to take your BuildBox games and to put them on your iPhone. It teaches you how to set up Xcode, and it teaches you how to set up your developer account, and you will need both of these for the next steps. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is click on appcontroller.mm. Okay, so I brought out 2 windows now. I shrunk this one down over here on the left. I shrunk Xcode down, and I brought up my HeyZap mediation window over here on the right because now we're going to start taking some things from this window and this page, and we're going to start putting them over here. So I'm going to scroll down over here on the right, and one of the things that we need to do is we need to import all of these frameworks. And so we're going to copy all of these. I'm going to press Command-C on my keyboard, and if you're using a Windows keyboard, then you're going to want to hit Control-C. And I'm going to paste this just below the PTP configuration. So I'm going to make a little space for myself, and then I'm going to paste it right in here. Now this next part is kind of a pain, but I'm going to show you because we're getting a bunch of errors because this syntax is not the proper syntax. So I'm going to teach you how to change all this and get rid of these errors. So I'm going to get rid of this window over here on the right now and focus in on this. Okay, so here's the deal. These are not written correctly. The way that we want to write this one right here, see at import AV foundation, we're going to rewrite that as hashtag import, and then we're going to use these brackets here, AV foundation slash AV foundation dot H. Okay? And so you'll notice that there's going to be no error that pops up here. And so we're going to get rid of this one, and that's going to fix the error. So I'm going to go through this entire list and fix all of these, and there's a few exceptions, and I'll show you which ones they are, but I'm going to go through and fast forward through this part because this is going to take a little while. Okay, great. So we should have a couple more errors left, and I'll teach you how to fix those errors. So the 2 problems are going to be with core telephony, and also we're going to have another error here in a second on the OpenGLES, and then we should have some errors on the HeyZap ads and the Google mobile ads because we haven't added in those frameworks yet. So right now let's fix this first error with the core telephony. So this needs to actually say core telephony defines. Okay, and so that should fix that error, and then we should get another error here in just a second. So give that a second to compile and figure it out, and then great, we should have another error here with the Google mobile ads. And you know what? For right now, we're not going to mess with that error, okay? We're going to fix this other error that's going to pop up after that, and that's with the open GLES. So I'm going to open up a little space here, and then I'm going to paste in these 4 right here. So make sure you add those in, okay? So check those out, maybe pause the video and take a look at those 4 and add those in, and then you want to comment that out. Okay, you do not want this in there. What you do want is you want these 4 to replace that one. So you can either delete it or you can just comment it out. So here's how you fix that Google mobile ads file not showing up problem. So what you want to do is you want to go over here to the left and you want to click on frameworks, and this is going to open up your frameworks folder, and you want to click on the little gray arrow off to the left so that it drops down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Google mobile ads framework here, and I'm going to drag it in, and I'm going to drop it in at the top. And so this window is going to drop down. It's going to ask you to choose options for adding these files, and you want to make sure that the copy items if needed box is checked, okay? And then you can press finish. Okay, great. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the HeyZap framework. So here's my HeyZap ads framework. I'm going to drag it in, and I'm going to make sure that I've got it set to copy items if needed, and then I'm going to hit finish. Okay, so next at the very top you want to click on PT Player, and this window over here in the middle is going to open up, and you want to go to Build Settings. Okay, and then under Search Paths you want to click on Framework Search Paths and double click it. This little menu is going to open up here, and instead of putting in the product directory, libs, and ads, you want to get rid of that, and it's just going to be in your project directory, okay? Because right now, what is happening, so here's our HeyZap example folder, and right now, the framework search path is going into the libs folder and then going into the ads folder, but the actuality is that the Google mobile ads framework is in the iOS folder. It's in the project directory, and the same thing with the HeyZap ads. So when we copied those files into the frameworks folder on the left, that's where it put them. So that's why we have to change the search path, the framework search path, to just iOS, okay? And so now, so there's a couple steps that we need to take right now. First, I want you to click on the top left here. I want you to click on PT Player. Okay, this is going to open up a menu over here in the middle. I'm going to zoom out so you can see it. So I want you to click on Build Phases and then click on Link Binary with Libraries. I want you to scroll down and go to the plus sign right here. All right, and then here you want to click on Add Other. And then you want to go to your desktop or wherever you have your Google mobile ads framework, and you want to add it in manually. So I'm clicking on the framework right here, and then I'm clicking open. And then there it is at the top, Google mobile ads.framework. Okay, and then I'm going to add in one more. I'm going to add in the HeyZap one. So I'm back to my desktop. I'm going to click on my HeyZap. I'm going to click on the iOS SDK, click on the HeyZap ads framework, and open that one as well. And so now we want to go up to the top left, and we want to click on Product, then click on Clean, and then click on Product again, and click on Build. Okay, and you'll notice now there's no errors. Okay, and so that's great. So that's what we want. Now there's a couple warnings, but just ignore those. For right now, there's a couple more things that we need to get done. So I want you to go over here to the General tab, all right? And some things that we need to do is we need to add some more libraries. So first I'm going to press on the plus sign down here at the bottom. Then I'm going to search for lib C++. So we want to click on the lib C++.tbd and add that one. Next we want to click on the plus sign again. And this time we want to add lib xml2.tbd. So we'll add that one, and then I'm going to press the plus sign one more time, and we're going to add one more network. We're going to add one more framework, and this is just libz.tbd. and add that one. Okay, so those are the 3 that you need to add. So you can see them right here at the top. I added these 3 libraries. Okay. Next, we need to go back to our folder here, our project folder, and click on appcontroller.mm. And I want you to scroll down until you reach this area, right in between application and PT model controller. And we're going to make a couple spaces here, and we're going to grab some information from the HeyZap mediation page, and we're going to transfer it over. Okay, so I'm going to open up 2 windows right now. Okay, so I've got the 2 windows open here on the left and right. Just so you know, you can add a little bit of space here by clicking on this button. So over here on the right, I'm going to go to the HeyZap mediation stuff, and I need to initialize this bad boy. Okay, so right here, I'm going to copy both of these, and then I'm going to paste them right in here. Now it's good to go ahead and copy this one because it's already got our publisher ID already in there for you. So you don't have to worry about that, but make sure if it has just a bunch of X's or it doesn't say your publisher ID in there, you have to put in your publisher ID right here or else it's not going to work. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run this on my iPhone, and we're going to see if it is mediating properly. So it's going to open up a mediation debugger, and we're going to check to see if Admob is connecting to my iPhone. So there's a couple more things to do. We need to go up to PT Player, and we need to select a development team. Okay, so if you have not done this yet, then you need to watch my tutorial that teaches you how to set up your developer account with Apple. So this is another tutorial that I did that shows you how to take your BuildBox games and put them on your iPhone. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to select my development team. Now I've shown you how to set this up in the other video, so make sure you watch the other video if you have not set this up yet. So I'm going to select my development team, and then there's no more errors here. Now I can go up to the top left. I can click on iPhone 8 Plus, scroll up, and then select my iPhone, and then now I can run it. Now it's not going to run this app all the way because the mediation debugger is going to stop it, and it's going to check to see if we have a connection with Admob. So I'm going to click on Allow. Okay, I'm going to open up the HeyZap example app. It's going to fire up and open up the HeyZap mediation debugger, and you can see here that Admob has a green check mark next to it. So does HeyZap, and so does HeyZap Exchange. You can actually click on Admob and see if it's working properly. If an advertisement is ready to go, a green show button will show up. If it is not ready, it will show up red. So right now I'm going to click on the show button just to make sure that it's working properly, and what do you know, a sweet Final Fantasy advertisement opened up. So I'm going to exit out of the advertisement. I'm going to click back, and I'm going to click done, and now I'm going to test to make sure that it's working throughout my game. So give it a few seconds to play the game because I'm waiting for a banner ad to open up on the bottom, and this is why it's good to work with multiple advertisement companies at once and to prioritize them, because it may take a while for HeyZap and Admob to produce a banner ad, and so you're losing precious time that you could be playing an advertisement. You can see right now that neither one of them have an advertisement, or at least a banner advertisement, ready for me to go, so there's nothing on the bottom. So I'm waiting for it to happen. So it should happen here any second. It shouldn't be too long before they're able to give me an ad. And there we go. So that actually took quite a while. So it's definitely good to work with multiple advertisement companies. So try to set things up with other advertisement companies other than Admob as well if you're running into this sort of problem. So I'm going to go ahead and let my character be defeated. And I'm going to click on the main menu again, and I'm going to click start and try to die 1 or 2 more times to make sure that it is working properly. And on the 3rd time dying, a interstitial ad plays, which is perfect. This is exactly what I want. Alright, I'm going to hit the reward button. An advertisement is playing. Holy smokes, I bet this is the happiest you've ever been to see an advertisement. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here, but you can see now that they are all working properly. Okay, now the last thing that you want to do, now that your advertisements are working properly and everything's going well, you need to get rid of that HeyZap mediation debugger line of code, because you don't want that popping up every single time somebody plays your game. And you definitely do not want to release a game and submit a game to Apple with that in your code. Okay, so I'm going to go back over to App Controller, and I'm going to go over here to this HeyZap Present Mediation Debugger View Controller, and I'm going to comment it out. So I'm going to do 2 / marks, and that's going to comment it out, or you could just delete it. But you want to make sure that you get rid of that. Alright, that's it for the HeyZap mediation tutorial. I hope that you found this video was useful. If you want to see more videos like this, then please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Like and subscribe.